Hello everybody, it's Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming bringing you another video. Enjoying all the videos and content we produce, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, and don't be afraid to share. Don't forget to click on the notification button, customize it however you want, but that way you're notified whenever we publish another video. Hello everybody and welcome to another Diablo video here for season 27. So today I'm going to be giving more of a public service announcement, a PSA rather than a guide. I'm just going to go over a few things that I've encountered from my group play and from talking to other players about common mistakes that some people are just doing, and I'm going to just share them with you in hopes that it'll help just with your gameplay or with your seasonal journey and pushing and just quality of life and all that sort of thing. So rather than ramble any more about it, let's just get into it and I'll share with you my thoughts and what I found. So one of the first common mistakes is that I found is for people who are wanting to play in group play, but then are having trouble getting into group play because they're playing a non-meta build. At the start of a season, it is usually very meta build. So you have your rats that are doing speeds of high GRs where they want to clear it in 2 to 2.5 minutes, and just to maximize leveling gems as well as Paragon, just to get as high and as quickly as possible. So outside of that, you also run into, like, if you're playing with your friends and you have them, like a couple of them that are running like a meta build, like Demon Hunters on Impale or even God DHs or whatever, where they can clear higher rifts. So higher, I'm just going to be like 100 or 110s even or something like that. And they're clearing them super fast, like 3 or 4 minutes, or let's say it's even taking them 5 minutes. And then you're playing a non-meta character like a Witch Doctor, and then you group up with them and then you go down and you're only clearing 100s. Yes, it's nice for them to help you out, and now you're clearing 100 better than you would be doing yourself. But in the end, you're not really doing yourselves any favor. You might get some lucky drops kind of thing, but you would be better off also getting them to power level you a meta character and kind of gearing that up. And then the two of you could complete higher GRs together, and then you'll get more Paragon and more Paragon because you're clearing the higher GRs, you're getting the more experience and whatnot. And then when you go back to your non-meta character, and if you want to play around in solo, your character is going to be stronger because you got those extra Paragon points. So it's kind of this early in the season, it's more worthwhile to be kind of a meta and play the stronger characters to help push along and with your friends and all that, so that you're kind of, I guess I'm just going to use the word dead weight, is kind of what happens. And then you're not helping them progress either. They're just more doing you the favor kind of with the heavy lifting. So one way to kind of identify the stronger characters is just easily just going to leaderboard. Like if we go to the solo necro, there's one who's done a 148. Now we know that that's a 1600 Paragon, but that's fine. But if you like look at them all, so Barb is 140, Crusader's 136, Demon Hunter's 141, Monk is 149 as well. Necro already saw it, 148. Witch Doctor just 136, and then a Wizard is 146 as well. So looking at that for like pushing and whatnot for just speeds as you're slowly starting to level, the Witch Doctor and the Crusader that are at the 136s are really tough. Like they don't have super quick builds, and so if you want to do kind of those speeds at the mid like 110 level or whatever, unless you're super geared really, really early, which is highly unlikely on some of the non-meta classes, you're not going to be able to keep up. You're kind of going to be a detriment. You'd probably be better off switching just to one of those high meta things just to do the speeds, because you'll get your gems leveled up faster as well as the Paragon points, which will then help in your solo play on the non-meta classes. So my kind of thoughts on that, or at least what I've heard from other people talking group play, much rather play with meta classes for the speed and efficiency, and then on the non-meta ones, that's what you should do in your solo time. The next thing that I want to cover is people are misusing the Angelic Crucible. So, and they're misusing it in this way. Off the start of the season, we 100% want to use it on our weapons because it makes them primal, and we're going to get, and that'll be where we see the biggest bang for a buck, the biggest improvement. But what people are forgetting is that you may find an ancient of almost primal quality. And so, like in this particular case, like I got a max 300% because it's primal. But if I had to find a funerary pick, and let's say it was 297 and ancient, and it dealt also had 3000 weapon damage or even 2950, like it'd be super close to primal. It would be a waste to then go and use the angelic crucible on it because the difference or the benefit you're going to get from it would be so small. You'd be better off using it. Like, let's say I had a Crisbin's. So for this, I want to get a 100% modifier. Let's say my best one I found today was like an 82 or 83, super low, and really that's pretty bad. And so it would be better off for me to use the angelic crucible on my Crisbins and then get the unique affix I need there, and then I would have, for lack of a better word, it'd be angelic, but it'd be a primal Crisbins, and the percent damage increase I would get from like going from a low 80s to 100 would be phenomenal. Whereas the difference from going from like a 290 to the 300 would not be as great of an impact, especially like if the base damage and all that is really super close and comparable. Same with like if you want, like my COE here is only 183. If I had a better pick, I could do it to my COE to get that maxed out as well at the 200%. So that's just one thing that I noticed that people are doing. They be like, oh, I got an ancient, but I already have this with my, like I've already sanctified it, so there's no point. And then they just go and destroy it and get their 3 forgotten souls. But if they had taken a closer look, it could have been very close to, if not better for them, to keep it as an ancient and then sanctify a different item, and then they would have been better off for it with the or with the increased benefit they would have got from the unique affix on another item, or just better stats like getting max crit and that sort of thing. So I've been seeing that a fair bit. I've made the mistake myself early on, so I just wanted to call that out. And once people are aware of it, like a few people more, as you check out the leaderboard, you're seeing them sanctifying different items, and it's because of this. So I just wanted to pass it along because it's definitely going to help in the long run. Because of course, like better stats are better stats. So just because it's a weapon doesn't necessarily guarantee that that should be your sanctified item. The last thing that I want to cover is puzzle rings. So I know in the past, by the time you get to the end of the season, you're probably just getting tons of regular puzzle rings. You might have like 10 in your stash that you never bothered to run them, and so then you just kind of get rid of them. But because we can sanctify them, and because it's a lot pretty easy to get these angelic crucibles, like I already got 21 here just sitting there waiting, doing nothing, you can sanctify them and it turns them into a primal puzzle ring, which is going to turn into an ancient puzzle ring. And then, like, I'm pretty poor on my resources here. Like, you just go in there and you clear it. You can just do a run of, like, you'll find these so often. So you just sanctify them, get a bunch of ancients, get a group together, you run them. Your resources are going to be through the roof, and what that is going to let you do is then you can go over and you can start crafting through the cube, and you can try to generate your better gear, your ancients or primals, through the upgrade of hope, and like in it'll be much better. Like in some way, like people like to run bounties, and then they want to use the law of cool here to reforge them. But sometimes you're just better off, and it's easier because you get these organically, like the materials from just running Nef rifts and whatnot, just to do that. So by having the puzzle rings, one, you're also going to get a ton of gold for when you're empowering the rifts. You can put on a gold set and make tons and tons of money, and then get tons of resources that you can then use in the cube. And it may save you like from doing bounties in the future, because I know not everybody loves doing bounties. So people are just kind of just destroying them. It better probably just to, upgrade them and then run them. The resources you'll get will prove useful in the future. The last thing that I want to cover is back on the sanctified items. I've seen some people who they just sanctify the item and then they just think, okay, it's now the primal version of it. I'm good to go. Let's just go do things. And don't really pay attention to the actual unique affix that you get added to it. There's 3 options for all the classes, and only one of them is going to be the better one for whatever build you're running. I actually ran into that. Like if I go to my other pick here, hitting enemies with Death Nova 5 consecutive times, add the spirit, blah, blah. That is what I needed for doing group play, but is not the one I needed for solo. And I was doing some solo before I realized, oh, that's the wrong one. So then I had to create a second one. And then for solo, I want the enemies within 50 yards are constantly assaulted by the army of dead. And so just double check your sanctified item. Make sure you have on the actual affix that you're going to need. And if you don't, then you can just re-sanctify it until you get it. But just keep double checking that. It'll make a difference. Like it could make the difference of 1 or 2 GRs or even more early on. Later on, for sure, it would only make the difference of 1 or 2 because then you kind of get into dependency on Paragon and your actual ancient items and augments and that sort of thing. So this brings me to the end of the video. I hope you found this PSA helpful. I hoped you learned something from it, or at least got you thinking in maybe a different way or anything like that. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions or your own kind of PSA that you want to throw out there, put it in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it, see what else everybody else is thinking on. As always, I appreciate it. Like, share, some subscribe. So please click those buttons. And also, please come check us out on Twitch. We are streaming Diablo 3 on Thursdays and Saturdays. So come check us out. Come hang out. Let's run some GRs, push, have some fun. So until next time, I hope to see you on Twitch and also at the next video.